OpenAI has predicted that 8 out of 10 workers, about 10% of their work will be affected by AI and be able to be improved, and that about 19% of workers will be able to complete their tasks using AI 50% of the time. And so I think it's time that we have to reflect upon both the opportunity and the responsibility that comes with this new technology. The opportunity, obviously, is to help man be more productive, more capable. The challenge is to make sure that we do it responsibly and that we take into account the implications for humanity. We really need to double down on training and making sure that people understand how to use these tools. We need to help more people be capable, be agile, be resilient, and be able to incorporate these tools into the work that they're doing, as opposed to look at it as a potential threat. Rather look at it as, how is this my co-pilot? How is this my aid to help me do my work? I often think personally, for example, one of the things that I'm going to have to do is learn to ask questions better, because the output that you get from generative AI is often a reflection of the question you ask. I think the other thing we're all going to have to learn is how to be better editors, because you're going to get information, but some of it may be relevant, some of it may not be accurate. And so learning how to take the help or the aid of generative AI and make it your own is, I think, something that is a skill, frankly, we haven't had to have. I think, first of all, we don't know how it affects employment. We have a shortage of workers, and so in some respects, I think this capability can help us, not without a human in the loop, but rather where there's at least, let's say, production of first drafts. I think administrative work, I think clerical work, and other types of capabilities are going to get disrupted. Are they going to go away? I don't think so, because I think at the end of the day, somebody has to apply judgment as to what the machine is telling you as to, is this accurate? Is this what I want to say? Is this the solution that I'm really looking for? Is this taking me in a direction that I am comfortable is consistent with my ethics and my values? And so I think that we're going to have to learn to work differently. And that's going to require all of us to develop new skills. And that's why I think it's so important that we not just say that there's opportunity and there are pitfalls and that we should have regulation, but I also think we need to think about the human and making sure that our populations are able to adapt and adjust. And frankly, I could see a world where your job is more interesting because you're applying judgment more often than you are doing the ministerial type parts of all of our jobs. Look, the workforce is going to be impacted by AI. The question is, what are we doing to help the workforce adapt? What are we doing to provide at-scale training opportunities for people? What are we doing to make sure that every person is empowered to get the benefit of AI? But this is not new. And this is a moment not dissimilar from when we became an industrialized society from an agrarian society. This is not different than post-World War II, where we really needed to have a massive training made available to our GIs as they came home. I think all companies and all organizations are going to have to change. I think we're all on notice that the world has moved to a very different place. And so I think if you're a CEO of any kind of organization, you've been given notice and you need to figure out how you're going to embrace these new technologies. But that means you have to bring to the table your values, your ethics, your integrity, and your sense of responsibility. I think we absolutely need regulation. And that's something that's extremely important to protect these fundamental principles that need to be applied to AI, of fairness, of inclusion, of protecting privacy and safety, of making sure that we understand the biases that are built into algorithms, that there's a transparency and there's an accountability. There has to be a default that if asked to do things that are harmful to society or harmful to individuals, there is an absolute prohibition. And then we have to build in our values. Things like fairness, inclusiveness, protecting privacy, protecting safety, making sure that these algorithms can be held accountable for what they produce. I'm not certain what the right government structure is to regulate AI. I think for the United States, one could imagine you need a lot of conversation about what are we trying to accomplish? And then what's the most efficient and effective way to accomplish such regulation? And those conversations are not happened, I think, in an open enough and broad enough way that the solutions are obvious. I think thought leaders, I think government leaders, business leaders, civil society leaders need to come together. They need to understand the potential of generative AI, and then they need to begin to work to develop rules of the road so that we're both capturing the opportunity but doing so responsibly. And that's an absolutely essential thing that we need to do as a country, and frankly, globally needs to happen.